Glad that I got to experience it with you.
Hello and welcome to Impulse Drive Coriolis. This is the 11th and final session of our reskin of the Impulse Drive PBTA game using the Coriolis setting. We have our characters that have been pursuing the MacGuffin of these discs throughout this, and they have 4 of the 5 of these discs. They're heading to try and A, retrieve the 5th one, and B, stop the person who has the 5th one and is going to do something horrible. So that is sort of the 2 parts of this. This is part of the Gauntlet Hangouts. The Gauntlet is an online sort of gaming club community. We have games that go on each month. We have a calendar that's an app that we've built to support that. That's also supported then by a Patreon that works with that to allow people to come in and play games with a good set schedule, with regular time, and with solid and reliable safety tools. We make that a minimum requirement for the play that we do here. If you're curious about that, you can find out more about that at gauntlet-rpg.com. It's worth checking out. And I should also mention, this is part of a host of actual plays that are out there. But I suppose if you're starting at 11, you may already be aware of that. So to remind us one last time, our lines and veils are spiders, and also our other lines are sexual assault, suicide, and torture, and our veils are on eye injuries and harm to children. We're going to do a check-in. Let me frame up where we're at right now, and then I want to do a check-in. The group has headed to a system called Amido. There is a gravitational anomaly there called the Eye of Amido. In particular, they're going to the planet called Atacon. Atacon is where the Foundation have a set of laboratories. Our captain Nikos has traced back his missing brother to that. The person who has the 5th disc is there. All roads converge there in one way or another, and that is where we're going to be taking up today. So let me do a quick check-in. Sherry, are you happy with your hooks?
Yes.
Okay.
I am.
And anything that you're like, okay, we definitely want to see this on screen, definitely want to have this in play today.
No, I get lots of play, and I'm just looking forward to everyone else's stuff. So,
Okay. No pressure on everyone else.
Yeah.
Stephen, for you, are you happy with the hooks? Are there any things that you want to definitely see on screen for today?
Yes, I'm happy with the hooks, and I just want to see the obvious things on screen.
Okay.
We've got a lot of stuff to resolve, and I want to see it resolved.
Excellent. And then Mumaton, what about for you?
My hooks are good. I'm sure that we'll have lots of access to Opor. I'll be in the middle of this thing, and I'll have lots of burr to spin terribly. And for a highlight, I just want to see it all come to a titanic conclusion. That's probably Curry's fault.
All right. So I'll just write down Titanic next to your thing there, just as a reference, and I'm sure I won't get that badly. All right, which brings us to Patrick and Kyrie. How are you with your hooks and anything besides the Titanic that you want to see on screen?
Everybody loves a good disaster movie. I am happy with my hooks. As far as things I'd like to see this session, like there is a lot going on that we're in the middle of, and I don't feel the need to like tie a nice bow on the Order of the Pariah or any sort of that sort of thing. But I would like to see Amit, the hound that I connected to before, somewhere in this.
Absolutely. So we take up with the group where we left off last time. You had landed on Amido itself because you had been hit by a Lascarid attack ship. And I believe where we left off last time was with the repairs being done to that ship. Is that correct? Does that seem like right? I would like to kind of cut forward a little bit to you on essentially having taken the ship from there to Atacon, to the Foundation planet, and essentially arriving there, and then we can figure out where we go forward from that point. Does that seem reasonable? So Atacon is a planet with great what is generally called canals, but are really canyons that run through it. It has on the surface, as I described last time, a kind of a scorching environment when you get above the canyon line, but down in the canyons, it is habitable, it is survivable, and these canyons crisscross the planet. And you've cut down through the atmosphere and landed on one of the sort of protected bays. And I believe that in your crew stuff for your ship, you actually have a transport, right? You have a speeder and a shuttle, right?
Right. We don't normally land the ship on the planet.
Okay.
We leave it in orbit and take the shuttle down.
So you landed the shuttle down there, and you probably had to pick up a passenger vehicle, something small that you could rent short term, and probably have the speeder bike. I noticed it's written as a space drunk ped on the ship sheet. That is also attached to the back of your thing.
Someone was impugning its quality when I picked it up.
That is true. So where we take up is you are probably a couple of hours outside of the Foundation facility, and we can retcon jump back to anything in terms of setup or people you would have talked to or things like that. But let's paint the scene a little before we go too much further here. I've described this as canyons. I've described the sort of atmosphere above. What's the other big feature as you are heading along, sort of tense, moving towards the Foundation? What are the signs, the sort of geophysical signs that we're seeing here beyond? And I should say Kala. I should probably get a name there, shouldn't I?
Oh, great. I think one of the things is if you look up at the sky, it's a thing of there's perpetually these clouds of different colors moving by very, very fast. It is the atmosphere itself is in constant crazy motion, and there's a sort of very active, very strange chemical set of accumulations up there. So the palette of the sky is all over the place, from essentially neon and lurid to softest pastels to kind of muted medium tones, and it can switch quite rapidly.
So you've got this weird iridescence, this weird rainbow kaleidoscope that is going as you are traveling through these canyons. Nikos, who is the contact or fixer that once you arrived here on Otacon, you got in contact with to kind of help make arrangements?
I know him as Greasy Jacks.
Okay.
but he's going by something more formal on this station. Jackson Garak. We've got some history when he was slightly less respectable, which is not to say that he was almost respectable back then.
Absolutely. But he has cleaned up a little. He's patched the holes in his suit. He clearly rolled somebody who had some money and has set up, and he's the one who essentially got you on planet without it being logged in the general system. So you're pretty certain that the Foundation doesn't know that you've landed there yet. Patrick, what are the signs of the Foundation itself? We know that this is an academic facility. It has a lot of pull here. You're heading to this big sort of off the beaten path research facility. How do we know that this is a kind of a different planet, the planet that has these kind of formal academic and scientific institutions in control?
What sort of science do they do generally?
They're doing sort of the hard science of astrophysics and the xenobiology, and they're also the ones that are doing the sort of future sociological mathematics and all of that kind of stuff. They're definitely Zenithian through and through.
So I think what it is these like canyons that the buildings and the sort of city are set in like varies widely in width, and at the widest spots, like the sort of buildings and civilization bits stop, and you have to like take wide skirts around because like deep set into the ground in these canyons are these like giant sort of collector array dishes, radio telescope sort of things that are like dozens of football fields wide sort of thing. And so you'll just be going along a sort of crowded market, and then everything will stop and you'll have to take like a half-mile detour around this giant facility and then back into just normal shit going on.
Yeah, they have sensors everywhere, instrumentation everywhere. It doesn't look like a surveillance state for the locals, but it has that feel like they are constantly getting readings. They're reading the metadata of everything that is happening here, as well as doing all the off-planet stuff. The other thing I think we'll notice is most of the icons and the temples and things on other planets you've been to, especially Mira, everything is very bespoke and handmade and crafted. Here, if there's a shrine, it's a stamped out metal industrial shrine with a spray painted logo of the deckhand or whatever. They're put there. They're like kiosks here rather than shrines. And even with that, there are many fewer than you would have seen on any other planet. As you are going on through the canyons, heading this way, Mumaton, what do you see in terms of defenses that the Foundation have here? What kind of thing are they using to protect or surveil or provide some threat?
The defenses that Mumaton notes as they approach appear all to be automated. There are a couple of automated turrets that are set up and definitely would be used against artillery used against large ships. So a heavy approach or an attempt to escape would be a good bit dangerous if those things are active.
Yeah, tower gunning. The ramparts are covered. All of that. People on the ground here less covered, but definitely they are watching for the big stuff. You will break through the canyon, and finally it kind of opens up, and you will see a large dome. Clearly, sort of the arcology for this, with several spokes with microdomes, and those have like spokes for different labs. It's like a small foundation city / research institution that kind of spreads itself out, and that's striking. It's done in the kind of the most basic, grays and whites, and the coloring on that. There's no attempt at any kind of ornamentation. But the other thing that you see is something I mentioned last time, sort of just in passing, that one of the reasons that they're here is that there is a precursor monolith, a precursor artifact that is on planet. Now, in other places, like in the Kua system and so on, these are massive structures that people live in that they don't quite understand, and so on, that are freestanding. And you can make out some of that, but what you see is it's a massive structure. It's like a skyscraper, imagine, made of a kind of a dark granite that seems to absorb the light, but it has shattered. It has broken, and all the pieces have kind of come apart in great broken swaths, but it's all hanging in the air. So you will see sort of in behind the dome, this big floating chunks of a monolith, like an explosion happened and then stopped, and the pieces are hanging there. And you can see that clearly. Structures like ladders and conveyors and ropes have been built between the pieces, and there's clearly sensor things built up on it. They must use some elevators and things to go up between the pieces.
Okay, so it's not like a frozen time field. It's just the physical bits of this monolith are stuck.
Yes, and the
Interesting.
thing that struck you is you couldn't see it from orbit, and it isn't until you're within like a couple of kilometers of this thing that it becomes visible, in a way where you don't know exactly what the point is when suddenly it resolves for your brain. And that is what you see. That is the facility that is here. The other thing that you will note is they do have a spaceship landing pad here, like a pretty big spaceport thing set up. And there is a Lascarid vessel parked, like a pretty substantial one parked there on that landing pad. And you will recognize it, Kalaba.
What?
You recognize it.
It's the disappeared vessel?
Yes, it is.
What? And then I guess we see it just sitting there out in the open.
Yeah. You recognize it. It isn't labeled the same as the ship. I mean, the coding and the insignia on it aren't the same, but you know it. You worked on that ship for a long time.
Okay. And I stop and I tell everyone that's the ship. That's the heretical ship that disappeared. The one that I'm blamed for.
Wow.
But how? If it's just sitting out in the open, how is that a secret?
Well, and she stops and goes, well, it doesn't have the same transponder on it anymore. Just like,
Right.
and she's like, ah.
And there aren't a lot of people traveling from Otacon to the rest of the systems. I mean, this is a pretty discreet place to park a ship you're trying to keep hidden.
What makes you so sure it's the same one, not just a similar model?
And she looks at you like you're daft. She goes, I was there as it was being built. I know every scene. I know every panel. And
Okay,
she sort of looks
okay.
at it. She goes, it was all custom.
Okay. It's your ship. I understand. Oh, fine.
No, I didn't make it. She goes, understand, I did not make it.
Hmm.
I was just there, assisting. I didn't understand. I still don't. Lol, I have the knowledge of the Jinn. Is that
Mhm.
kind of a constant thing, or is it something you have to summon up?
Oh, I think it's probably something you have to roll for. Yeah.
Okay, great. That sounds really awesome. So
You
I
know,
have
gaze
theories,
into the
she
dark
says.
lets you just ask any sort of question.
Absolutely.
Is that what it is? Yikes. All right. Yeah, right now she's not going to call up the Jinn since we're
Really?
in. Yeah, really.
But Kyrie will say, well, if this was such a special custom ship, what was it for? What was it made for? Maybe that's what they're using it for here.
And she stops and she goes, it was supposed to be, it was supposed to move through the gates differently, faster, more efficiently.
So maybe
Yeah.
the drive, they're doing some experiment with that.
And she goes, the drive is just, maybe. That seems spurious.
Yeah, I wonder how long Pega Cardin has been arranging all of this.
Yep.
Tell me, Nikos, what is the grift, the cover, the plan? What have you done to get you and your crew access or inside this facility?
We're security consultants.
Okay.
Yeah, Jackson is going to help us with credentials. I mean, assuming he doesn't double cross us.
Absolutely. Which says to me, let's look at our moves here. Let's have you roll your pursuivant for this.
Okay. Volatile. That would be a 5.
That would be a 5. So you're pretty sure that Jackson got you stuff that is going to be good. That this is going to be fine.
Yeah, we're old mates. He wouldn't double cross me.
Absolutely. So you will arrive on your shuttle, and as would be expected for security consultants, they have a security team waiting for you. And you will pull up, and they're kind of all waiting, and you will see this professorial gentleman is waiting there for you, and you step out, and he says, Mr. Jemison, correct?
Yes.
Well, we've been expecting you, though. We want to get your perspective on the security of the facility here. We are very excited to have you coming. Yes. Please introduce me to your team.
Yeah. Yes. This is Balaka, our technical expert. Um, Bifritan Mumati, very experienced mercenary, and Dal Al-Khairi, who has a very unique perspective, which we have found useful on many occasions.
Ah, excellent, excellent. So, Bumaton, what are you? What's your take on this situation here?
You don't normally have a security team show up to greet a security team.
You don't know the procedures here. This could be SOP. Would you like to perhaps?
Yeah, I'd like to get a read on this.
Okay, why don't you scope it out?
All right. Scope it out is calculating, if I remember correctly.
It is.
That's awesome, because that's my worst stat.
That's
A dumb
right,
stat, figuring stuff out. All right, here we go. Rolled boxcars, friend. Wow.
Holy cow.
Wow.
So you get to ask 3 questions.
Yeah, let me find the question. It's not under combat, it's under exploration because you're exploring, Rich. That's where you should have looked. What here is not what it appears to be.
So they are very clearly here. Like something has come up the chain that your group is anomalous. Like you're not who you say you are. They have the sense that they don't know exactly who you are, but they know that you probably here to rob them or steal data or something. That's the expectation. And the security team here, they're going to get you inside quietly, and at that point try and probably separate you and gently take you out. They've clearly marked you as the person they need to drop.
What here will give me an edge?
Well, they don't know that Kyrie's a psychic. That's the thing. And they probably don't expect you to be as freaking heavily armed as you are. Yeah, you've got body armor, but they don't expect that you have a grenade or the other things. They haven't had a chance to do a security scan on you.
Yeah, it's my really dope cloak. It hides a lot of weapons.
Yeah, so they think that you guys are just common scofflaws right now. That's the edge that you have.
Okay.
And what's your third question?
Oh, what the heck? Who's really in control here?
There's one of these security people there, the smallest of them, looks the most, he's kind of standing at the side. The others keep, like, their eyes keep going to him. He's very lightly armed, but you're watching him and you realize he's got a lot of synth work done, like
nice.
under muscles and reflexes and all of that kind of stuff. He's hardwired, but made to look as discreet as possible. And you suspect that he's the security team captain.
Okay. Yeah. I think letting this play out is not going to go well. So once Mumaton gets a good read on things, she's going to just gonna walk over to the smaller individual and bend her head down and say, this may look like some kind of robbery, but it is not. We are security consultants. I would ask you to stand down.
Interesting. Well, I don't think this is necessarily intimidate, do you?
It isn't yet, no.
So let's have you roll manipulate.
Awesome. My other dump stat. Oh, slick. Listen, there's a reason I hang out with Kalaba and Nikos. So they
Now,
can
hold
do
on.
these things for me.
I want to stop you before you roll. Because someone could assist you. And thereby it could lean, and assist you and possibly give you advantage on this roll.
It's true. Someone could help me, back me up. That would be awesome.
By the way, my assumption is that you guys have subvocal communicators.
Yeah, if so, Moomton has already pointed out like they're going to try to separate us as soon as we get in. This is Fubard. Your friend Greasy Jacks is terrible, and that short guy is the one in control. Let me take care of it.
All right, I will try to assist.
Okay. Then let's have you roll with Stalwart first, Stephen.
That is a 7. So,
okay.
So like I sub-vocalize, tell him Pegacardin has been freelancing.
Cool. Yeah, so I'll add that in. Pegacardin's been freelancing.
Let's have you roll with advantage then.
Question
Yes.
about the move. This is a little bit of Rich's ignorance showing. Let me see. Do I get a benefit for acting on stuff that I get from the
scope it out? No.
Huh. I didn't see it in the move, and I just kind of assumed. All right, awesome. Here we go. All right, that is awesome. Rolling with advantage is exactly what I needed because it's a flat thing, but I still rolled an 11.
Yeah. So he's like, when you say that name, you have the sense that like his eyes narrow because no one should know that Pegacardin's here. Like the fact that you've dropped that name makes him alert, and he says, Professor Apsu, kind of leans over, and the guy who's been standing there talking to everyone else, this guy goes, Professor Apsu, we'll take it from here. You can head back in. And with some relief,
I'd like to try something.
Oh, please.
I want to try and mind spike the professor.
Oh, please do.
Crap, I forgot about rolling page. There it is.
Badly ample raccoon, I think.
Which I feel is just really judgy of the raccoon.
Fair enough.
I rolled a 2 on the dice.
I can't tell you how happy that makes me.
If it helps at all, my intent was to try and like get him to get in a battle over like authority or jurisdiction with this guy, like get in a fight with him. So twist that however you feel.
Let's see here. I think that this has no effect on the guy. Like you go to do that, but you can feel the twing and the echo, and you're like, oh shit, there's some pariah people here on site and a couple of hounds, and now they know we're here.
So as in like someone is jamming and that's why it failed, or I just fucked up and also set off alarms?
Like you go to do it and that monolith or the atmosphere around here, something throws you off and it goes wide broadcast and you'll get that ping back.
Just hear like a stream shit, on the subvocal.
This guy goes, okay. It kind of gestures for Professor Apsu to go on. He makes a gesture for his people to kind of like that we're not in a straight hostile situation with these four. And he says, what's the deal?
Yeah, and I'm sub-vocalizing. Kyrie, play it cool. We've got this. Yeah. And I approach him and speaking in a very low voice. I say, Pegacardin has been doing research to destabilize the gates. This will cause massive chaos if she succeeds in her research. I'm confident this does not have the approval of her superiors.
Who are you? What division are you from? He's like clearly wants some foundation authority, something to back this up. Like he knows that you're not just scofflaws. He's willing to buy on that, but he wants to know where you come from, what's going on here.
We're freelance contractors. We ran across this in the course of an unrelated investigation and diverted here. We are not operating on foundation authority at the moment. That's why we approached in this unorthodox manner.
Then you're not getting entry to the facility, but I will take your statements under advisement. My associates will take you to a waiting lounge while I go and confer and confirm on this.
Of course. I understand the importance of following procedure.
And he will gesture to a couple of his like two of the security people and the other two with him. And he will walk you into what is clearly the sort of the guest reception area of the foundation building. Well, you know, you go inside and this is the place where it's actually like nice, and they have carpeting, and they have little machines for coffee, and it's done with all of the like, welcome to the foundation and you, bringing the world together. Someday something the foundation does will touch you, you know, all of that kind of thing on these screens. And he'll gesture to like a waiting lounge for the four of you to go in. And he's rattled enough with that boxcars from before and so on. The Rich's bizarrely good roll that he hasn't done a full scan on you guys yet. Hasn't done a full weapon scan or any of that kind of stuff, but he'll gesture to you to go into that area. He leaves two of his people to watch you, and he and the other two head off. They're clearly going to go and talk to somebody up the chain or go track down Pegacardin. You're not sure which. It's a beautiful place. Cushions, snacks, little vending machines here for you that are free.
You're here and waiting for us again.
I think we should blow a hole through the wall and kill everyone.
Okay, I see only about 12 problems with that plan. But kind of the biggest problem with that plan is that they will kill us before we get more than 10 feet.
Okay, so something between fleeing the planet now and breaking everything and killing every person on it. So we're looking for middle ground?
Yes, middle ground. You have summarized it exactly. And we need to get to Pegacardin's lab, preferably when she is not there, and get the last disc. I think that's the key to everything.
Yep.
What are you doing, Kala? Yeah.
She's looking out the window over towards the spaceport where the ship is. And she's going, I wonder if this is part of the plan.
You mean
The ship?
you think the disk could be on the ship? Could she be using the ship to destabilize the portals?
It'd be the sensible way. She would have to get something up to the gates to shatter the system.
So all we need to do is get them to throw us out of the facility. I think we can manage that.
Probably before someone who actually knows what's going on comes back. And then she kind of stops and says, remember that Pega has recordings of it, so we aren't looking for physicality always with these discs.
Yeah. Yes, but all right, so the disk could be either in her lab or on the ship, but the ship is what she's using to trigger the doomsday device. So,
The detonator percent. So,
right. Yes, is your detector, is it sensitive enough to tell us where the disk is, here or there?
and she goes, yeah. Alternately, we probably are sensitive enough if we work together.
That is, I mean, it's risky. We haven't done anything like that before, but it's a great idea. Let's do it. I may possibly be influenced by having the part of the genie that controls impulsiveness inside my head.
There is something to that. So what is the plan?
Well, we do have, I mean, we're not, are we carrying the discs with us, guys? I'm cool with it if we are. I just want to know.
I assume you wouldn't have
think
left
so.
them. Yeah.
Okay. So we've been put into this thing. So I'll just sit down and, there's the big box and I'll hit the button on it and see if I get a sensing on it.
Let's have you stare into the dark.
Really? Okay.
Yeah.
What does that take? Weirdness?
Yes.
Oh, Lord. Why do you do these things?
Same reason I had Rich roll calculating.
You're so cruel. I don't even know what my weirdness is. It's 0. Okay. So I got a 9.
Okay. So you get to ask a question.
Okay.
And you're going to get an answer, but
Okay.
you're also going to mark a stress.
Okay.
And I'm going to ask a question of you.
Excellent. Let's see here. Let me mark the stress. And do I have to ask a particular question?
No.
Okay. So where is the other disc?
The other disc is on that ship, which is getting prepped for liftoff.
And I said, it's on the ship. Pega isn't that clever.
And here's my question for you from the dark.
All right.
And I'm modifying this slightly.
All right.
Why are you here?
And she says, to stop you from rending the gates.
Kyrie, you will get a feeling you've never really had before because you've never interacted with psychics for a long term, right?
Not really, no.
But you will get this feeling like someone is reaching out to try and talk with you. Someone or something is reaching out to try and communicate.
Hmm.
You want to let it in?
Yeah, I think it's freaky, but I also don't think Kyrie's the best at keeping things out of his head. It's more an open channel that goes the other way that he focuses on.
Sure. I'm going to do this little sequence, and then we're going to come back and see how Mumitan and the captain are getting you thrown out of the building. But you will hear this voice comes through, and you definitely have a sense that someone is channeling this person to you. And this woman's voice comes through, and she says, I am Demis Theru of the Order.
I help you.
I think our purposes may align.
I find that incredibly hard to believe.
Are you here to stop whatever madness is happening here in this Foundation base?
No, we're here to stop whatever madness could ever be done with these discs.
Then we are on the same page.
What happens when we get to the next chapter, though?
We don't have a lot of time.
No. No, you don't. Any of you. The Order has lied to you. All of you. They will burn you up and throw you away.
Oh, you don't understand. I'm using the hounds to talk with you.
I think Kyrie in like physical space sort of freaks out and backs into a corner.
Carry my words to your captain. We could assist one another.
Carrie's so good at doing things carefully. I want to carefully and subtly reach out into her mind and bring her in closer than she might be expecting with Embrace Eternity.
Yeah, let's have you do that. It's an unusual thing. They have a couple of hounds there, one to channel and one to protect her.
And I think this definitely would call for. I think my hooks would definitely be getting in the way of this.
Sure.
This is 6 + 2 is 8.
Okay. You get to ask a question.
You each ask one question, so she'll get one back.
Yes.
What does she seek? Like, obviously she has plans beyond just stopping this. What is she actually looking for here?
She is an agent of the Order of Pariah. She has come here undercover. She has brought a couple of hounds here undercover. She is here and ready to lay down her life to stop this. She doesn't believe that she or the hounds are going to walk away from this alive.
Really? So this is the thing.
You have the sense that they've picked up just pieces following in your trail, and they know something is up, but and that it is bad, and they've sent her to try and stop it by any means necessary.
What would she ask back?
I think she asks, though I think I maybe know the answer, but I think this is a question. She's still uncertain about your motives, so she wants to know what you're seeking.
The freedom of all those hounds that she's using. Like, I think in trying to get in and find her mind, she sees that, like, I would be willing to do almost anything to get those hounds out of here and away from her.
And then that barrier will come down from the other hound that locks down the psychic connection there. So Captain Nikos, Mumatin, what's the plan? You two have worked together, coordinated. How do you want to do this?
And, I think I'm going to use my security tablet to hack into these guards' comms. Give them a message from what appears to be their superior saying, just we're done with these guys, throw them out.
Okay. So let's see. Let's have you do. What's a good way to do this? Let's have you do keep your cool. I think we've got the security tablet. We know you can do the basic hack. This isn't anything sophisticated. You're essentially texting them to throw you out.
All right. Does my familiarity with law enforcement give me advantage?
Yes.
Okay, that's a 13.
So you see that, Roger, and they'll turn around and they come in and they say, "Ladies and gentlemen, if you could stand up and come with us."
Right, and I flash the signal that is, "Don't worry, guys, I've got this."
You know, this Kyrie's kind of still in the corner.
Right.
Shaking, shuddering a little bit. It's fine, probably.
Right.
Is your friend okay?
Yeah, he gets antsy in confined spaces.
That's got to be bad for shipboard travel.
I feel them crawling in. They're looking for us. They're gonna ruin everything.
And I think Cal will come over and she'll put her hand on your arm and go, "They're always doing that. Come on, let's go."
And the two kind of move. They are clearly waiting to see what Mumatin does.
Yeah, I think Mumatin is going to use that focus in order to help mask anybody else doing things.
Okay. Yeah, they walk you back out the reception area, and then they say, "Let's go back to your vessel." And they hit the door and they say, "I hope we're not going to have any issue with this."
So Nikos, have you provided the plan? Like, is this the now I take all of these people down moment?
No, this is not the take these people down moment. We do not want to take these people down. We want to let them throw us out.
There will be no problems,
Okay.
she says.
They get a little like, "Okay, yeah, we got this under control. We got these goofs." And yeah, they get a little more like a pushy, moving you out the door there. And they will move you back out to your vessel. And they say, "We need you to get back in your ship, turn around, and head back the way you came."
Understood. Wow, you are good at this. You are really professional. I admire that.
You're muted.
I think Calla looks at the captain super confused when he says that.
Yeah, and they wait and they watch and they kind of stay in their hands on their guns as you load up into your little skiff that you rode here on with your speeder bike attached to the back. And what do you do?
That's what I ask. What are we doing?
We're just going to circle around the block.
Can we go to the spaceport?
Yeah.
So, how are you going to pilot this ship to evade the external security to get out of here, Captain?
Right. Well, I don't think the external security is tracking us yet because, I mean, these two guards, they think they're acting under orders, but they're not.
Right.
So all we have to do is head the other way until these guards aren't watching and then turn around.
Absolutely. So, let's have you roll act quick.
$11.
Okay. So Captain peels out, hits the thing that the afterburner that creates a little more dust in the air, and you guys will take off, and you hit sort of one of the access routes around the place and kind of break off and start taking the circle around the edge of the canyon there, and you can see the spaceport. It definitely has walls. It's definitely a secured area, but you can also see that people are like right now clearly doing that last minute pulling things away from the ship, getting it ready like there's some kind of launch coming up, and they are getting sent there, and you guys are heading towards the spaceport. What do you tell the captain, Kyrie, or do you not tell the captain?
Yeah, once we start moving in, I'll say, no, you don't understand. It's not just the Foundation. The Order is here. Hounds are here. They have a psychic net out everywhere. They know we're here already. They're here to stop whatever is happening here, but I promise you they're here to take those discs with them.
Okay, well, the thing is, if they're here to stop the discs from being used, then they're on our side for now, and we can take advantage of that, and we can worry about the rest of it later. I mean, I think if we get the last disc, we can set the genie free. I think that's what we need to do in order to stop all this, and then it doesn't matter what they want with it. They want with the discs, right?
She's here and ready to die, ready to sacrifice all of them for whatever she thinks needs to happen.
Nobody needs to get sacrificed.
Exactly, but if she starts setting off bombs one way or the other, we may not have a choice.
Okay, but look, we don't need bombs. What we need is what we need is for them to do something subtle. I mean, do you think can you contact them? Can you get them to use their psychic powers to get us on the ship?
I don't know. They're fairly well guarded.
I have confidence in you.
Always says that when he wants you to do something crazy.
Look, Kala, that's because everything I ask you guys to do is crazy.
It's true. And we've always succeeded so far.
Momenton, I'll come back to this conversation with Kyrie and Nikos in just a second. You're checking out the spaceport as you come around. There are 2 access ways out here. What are they?
2 access ways back
Into the spaceport. Imagine that the spaceport's kind of like a fenced in area, like stone structure that keeps it, sort of set apart from the others. It's got that clear landing field. It's got the ship. There are probably a couple of minor ships in there. What is the access ways from that you can see from where you're at coming around?
There's an access way which has a bit of security where they check things as the official entry way to traverse between the town and the spaceport itself. And I think there's another side entrance that's off the beaten path where employees can come in, swipe a badge, or show an ident key, and they can enter on the side. But it's made to be enough out of the way where folks are funneled towards the official entrance.
And it is a classic place where they've got a lot of crates set up by it. It's a loading and unloading zone. And that seems like of the 2, the least guarded, though they still have security on both of them. And one of the advantages that you have right now is that apparently they are getting this ship scrambled to launch. Kyrie, now, do you reach back out to?
I'll get us to like angle, navigate, drift towards future equivalent of a cell phone tower, sort of like communications hub area. I like to try and reach out my virtual interface and hack into their communication system here on the base.
Sure. How and what are you going to do with that?
I'm gonna try and look for, use whatever camera security system to look for where they are, and reach out and try and communicate with them through technology rather than reaching my very leaky and information prone brain out to them again.
That seems interesting. Let's have you keep your cool.
Let's see, that's stalwart.
Yeah.
Oh, I have a point in that. It's a 5.
That is a 5.
Have my implants worked yet?
I don't think so. I think you're going to suffer a stress. And
I do have a hook with the implants about they warp my view of reality. I think the specific one with the virtual interface is everything seems like a virtual game. I'm quite sure, but
yeah, I think that the other problem is that you're going to have disadvantage going forward because there are so many computers here. There are so many computers running so many processes, so much information that it is just a winding path of a bright blaring market of machines and interfaces to connect into. And I think what we're going to do is we're going to take our break here, and then we're going to come back as the clock is ticking on you guys getting into the spaceport, and we'll probably see what goes wrong on the pariah side of things. So let's take 5. I have my better headphones on because one of my direct neighbor here they have been working on this house for the last year, and this last week they've decided that apparently they're working outside with all of their music players cranked up to 11, which is coming through the walls today.
Our neighbor has been on a year-long odyssey to cut down all of the many trees on his property exclusively between the hours of 6 and 8 a.m.
So much fun. So right now, there's a security team that is going to be coming back and going, where are they? That's number one. Number two, there is an Order of Pariah infiltrator, along with a couple of psychic agents who are in the larger complex of the Foundation, who know that your team is here and who also want to cause problems around in this area. You have Pbta, who is clearly on the ship with the vessels, and you clearly have Lascarid backing, and you still haven't found your brother, Captain Nikos. So let's start with Kalaba. By the way, Kalaba found out that Bala in Arabic is moist. So
thank you.
So
moisten.
Yes, to moisten. Kala, what are you up to?
Essentially, she knows that ship. So I think that what it is she has the sensors and stuff. She's probably trying to get a read on it of like what lockdowns and like what mode it's in, to get a sense of like what the timeline is, how ready they are to go, and how they're going to have to, what they're going to have to do to get in.
I think that's share expertise. You're going to get info, but I want to see, what level of info you're going to get.
Okay. So do I roll?
Calculating.
Calculating. Okay. So that's a 9 plus 3 is 12.
So they're very clearly getting ready to launch off. You've got some visuals on that. Your sense is, though, that they are not launching to orbit. Like maybe they're just launching up into the space around the broken monolith.
Interesting.
And what is your follow-up question?
Easiest method to board, subtly or forced?
We need to get in past the spaceport perimeter. That is sort of job one.
I have people for that.
And probably trying to get, the ship pretty well. So if you can get up on it, the access ways and hatchways that you could probably pop.
All right. So, okay. That sounds good. So essentially we're like, just have to get to the ship physically.
Yep.
Okay. Let's do it. And I will tell them the different means that we can get in and that we got to get to the ship.
Okay.
I don't care how we do it.
Well, I mean, if we had the gambler's vows, we could use the stealth system, but sort of like reach under his collar and pull off the like transactor unit from his cloak suit. Is there anything you could do, like a quick shot just to get us past visual sensors with this in the ship?
That's an interesting idea. Yeah, could I jury rig something home?
You can certainly try. What
Okay.
is it you're trying to hide from? You still got a physical obstacle to get past.
Yeah, that's it. So it's probably to get past the physical obstacle, which is through the lines to the port, right?
Absolutely.
So,
Let's have you roll.
okay. So essentially what I'm trying to do is probably make a full, like a group size camouflage.
Okay.
Okay. And that's just that and calculating. I don't have advantage. So that gives me a 10.
Absolutely. You can get a cloak thing. You guys can roll out of this vessel, this skiff that you've taken, and the four of you can make your way over, temporarily cloaked, to get up to the ship.
And despite what Kyrie may say, Patrick's okay with it burning out. Kyrie will complain a lot.
That seems fair.
Why is it sparking like that? Is it supposed to be smoking?
And
Quiet,
you guys,
Kyrie, we're trying to be stealthy.
you guys have to haul ass across this field here, because you can see it starting to do that repulsor liftoff, and the landing things are coming, and you have to book it to get up onto this thing. Momoton, you are by far the most physically fit and active of your crew. What do you do as the ship is starting to get ready to starting to lift off here? How do you get these three, who may not be like sprinters?
Yeah. I'm taking a quick look. I think I pick up Kala and I throw her over my shoulder and take off at a run. And I look at Kyrie and I look at Nikos challengingly, as if to say, you better keep up.
That sounds fair. Why don't you roll with Stalwart?
Good. I'll do that. Snake eyes. Oh, great.
So you're going to take a stress.
Awesome. I love it.
You're going to suffer disadvantage forward. And what is the sign or the signal that you get as you leap up onto the ship, grab onto it, you're kind of pulling yourself up, and now it's like, a few feet off the ground. What is the thing that tells you that the security alarms inside the ship have gone off and are alerting people?
Oh, it's the little pop-up turret on the belly that pops down and starts zipping around.
Yeah. Let's have you two, Kyrie and Nikos, both roll Keep Your Cool.
I think I'm taking Momentan a little literally, and can I try and boost the captain up towards where they are? A little telekinetic push?
Oh, absolutely. I think that's a great idea.
Yeah, that'll definitely. I'm gonna spend a darkness to get advantage on this.
Oh, well, that'll cancel out the disadvantage you have going forward.
Ransom. It'll be fine. Don't worry, Captain. I do this all the time. That's a 9.
That is a 9. So, do you want disadvantage or a stress?
Well, on the I see. Stress.
Okay, yeah. I was just doing this like your telekinesis is a fiction for Keep Your Cool. You don't have to discharge your TK move for this. Okay. So, Captain, what is it about the sort of TK push up to the ship that is not quite as graceful as you would like?
It's very forceful, and I actually bounce off the ceiling.
You kind of hit the side of it, smack onto the side. You guys are on the outside of this thing. You kind of grab. There's like some kind of flap thing that you smash your head onto, and you're hanging on there. And then Kyrie, let's have you roll your stalwart to you're the last person to try and leap up onto the ship as it is taking off. And again, this is a spaceship.
Okay.
Okay,
I'm actually going to try to help him out by lowering my hyper rope.
Okay, then you've got that item, so you can use that to give him advantage.
Which counteracts the disadvantage he had going forward.
That is true.
Oh no, I chose the stress.
Oh,
on
it chose
that
the
one.
stress.
That's the stress.
That's
That's right. Yes.
But 8, stalwart 9.
So would you like disadvantage or another stress?
I'll take another stress.
Okay, burn through that. So you grab onto this hyper rope. It's one of those ones that the captain has special gloves to activate and grab on, and you are being pulled up, climbing up this rope as the ship lifts up slowly. It's a big ship, and it lifts up ponderously. And the four of you are on the outside of it as it's rising up. And the little gunner turret is spinning around, looking for you guys. What do you do, Mumiton?
Do I feel like we could act quickly to avoid its gaze, or is it a thing where I'm going to have to fire on it?
That's your choice. You could try and get people out before it spots you, or you could blast it. You know that the interior alarms have gone off, so they know that you guys are coming, or that something is up. They may not know exactly who it is yet.
I'm going to fire on it. Yep.
All right.
I'll just take it out.
You know what? I don't think you even have to roll for that, do you?
I'm pretty amazing at this stuff.
Yeah. So if that's your choice, so because that will tell them that there's someone out here with a blaster, and give them a sense of that, I will say that. So what does that look like? What is it you use, and what happens there?
Oh, it's close enough to where it was swiveling around, and I think what Mumiton does is after she tosses Kalaba, she lowers down one arm and pulls out the sword, just slices it across.
We see that gun dome fall into, hits the tarmac and shatters there, and little sparks coming out. And you guys are like 40, 50 feet off the ground, and rising up into the air. Kala, you see Mumiton deal with one of the external guns. You can hear the alarms going off. And what do you do? How do you get people inside?
Essentially, the thing that can never be fully locked down is the escape pod stuff. But it does mean that we have to blow the escape pod out. So essentially, it's a two-step thing. So she goes for the first one that's nearest them, but she'll gesture the captain over to the other one to get that started. It's on sort of the other side of the ship, so they would have to split their forces to get to both of those. So it's kind of, and so she's going to go and essentially, how do you say, use a data crowbar to get this thing to pop.
Okay. Let's have you keep your cool, only because you are on a ship that is rising up as all of this is going on here.
Yeah, and I do yell to them, it's only going to the monolith, so, which is ominous in its own way, but at least we'll be able to breathe until that last second of our death. Okay, so I'm rolling, what is
Stalwart.
keep your cool? Stalwart, okay. So that gives me an 8.
Okay, so do you want stress or disadvantage?
Stress.
Take the stress. You'll blow that door out. The escape pod fires off. We see it arc across. We see it smash into the foundation building there, and probably punches a hole in the side of that as you lift off. And Captain, are you going up to the egress that Kala has made, or are you following what she said and heading over to the others, climbing over the ship to the other side to go in that way?
And this is her area of expertise. I'll follow her instructions.
Okay. So you and Kyrie head to the far side of the ship because you've got Kyrie on a rope. And Mumaton and Kala. So let's start with that. Let's start with Mumaton and Kala, and then we'll come back to Kyrie and the captain. So she's blown this escape pod. Mumaton, how do you now need to invade a spaceship? What do you do?
Consult the invading a spaceship manual that Mumaton read during basic. So we've blown the escape pod, so that's pretty easy. We'll just lift and drop in. There will be alarms that the escape pod is either has a fire or something, so she's gonna pop in, cover the corridor, and I think the best place is to try to find somewhere that is not under surveillance, where we can pop and allow them to run around a little bit before we pick our way in. So there's got to be some kind of like I'm thinking there has to be something along the lines of not a Jeffrey's tube is probably not large enough for that, but perhaps there's a storage closet of some kind, or an area where there's a machine shop. There, that would make Kalabah very happy if we could find the machine shop.
So you grab Kala, move in, check the corridor, and you're like, okay, I've got just a few seconds before security is down here. You're going to try and quickly get to the machine shop.
Mm-hmm.
Let's have you roll with Slick.
Cool. My Slick is, yeah, it's flat. So here we go. That's 4. Yeah.
That is a 4. So
Very
you will
slick.
hit down to that that area, and you will see like this is a little more armed security person, and
Sweet. Yes, miss.
so you kind of stop and they pop out in the way, and they see you and Kala, and they fire, no questions asked, and they're going to deal 2 harm to you.
They're well trained. Yeah, I've got armor on, so that'll be nothing coming through. Dang it. The armor it says absorb 2. Does that mean that it goes away until repaired?
No, I believe that the armor reduces damage. That's my impression of the system.
All right, cool. So then,
though given other things, I would have expected it to be ablative, and you have to track it. But no,
I know, right? That's why I was a little confused.
But you do. I mean, it's still zero harm. So what does that look like when you take that hit?
I think there's a shock from the impact, but no actual damage. So it's a slight, and then she's going to turn and fire back.
Okay. We'll come back to you two as suddenly you're in a corridor fight with one of the security teams here. Does it have discharged as a discharge tag?
You know, I don't see it unless I copied it wrong from gear. I don't see a discharge of any kind.
Okay. So it is damaged, which
awesome.
We'll look that up and figure out what that means in a second. I assume it means I can break it as a move then afterwards, is my guess.
That sounds amazing, and I hope you do.
Okay. Captain, you and Kyrie make your way around to the other side and get in, pop that hatch, send another escape pod flying into another one of these Foundation buildings, crashes into a bio lab somewhere. Nothing bad is going to happen from that. How do you want to approach once you get inside? You can hear the alarms. You and Kyrie can hear that has gone off, that clearly the ship is alerted to your presence.
I want to make contact with the piece of the djinn inside my head and see if it can give me like a map of how to get to the other disc.
Absolutely. Please roll weird.
Seven.
So yeah, you will get a sense of the direction and route you need to go to get to where the disc is, and you will also suffer a stress, and the dark would like to know in which ways is your mind and soul vulnerable?
Hmm. Right. Well, I mean, I think I'm definitely vulnerable when this piece of the djinn leaves my body. That is that. I mean, that could that. I don't know if that can even be done safely.
Interesting. We'll keep that in mind. Kyrie, you kind of follow up behind the captain into the ship, and you see the captain pause, and you can feel the captain reach and contact the djinn in the disc.
I think I'll turn and sort of like panic, grab him by the shoulders and shake him, be like, no, don't listen to that thing. Look, you need to stay here. It's dangerous in here. Don't get distracted, all right?
It's fine, Kyrie. I think I know where the disc is. I can get us there.
Shit.
I just have to hold out long enough to get the disc.
Yeah, let's go. Just try and stay here, right?
We can't stay here. We have to go there.
No, yes, I mean, no, it just fine, come on, just pay attention.
Beautiful, spacious corridors, lots of room for gunfire, stainless steel, well appointed, alarms going off everywhere as you step into this. They're doing that sort of flashing klaxon lights, and intruders, level 5, section 7. Secondary intruders, level 7, section C. And the computer is calling down security forces. Kyrie, what are you doing? How are you making your way on this map that the captain is describing?
We're moving along as quickly as we can, and as much as my implants have always served me so well, I'm trying to reach out with my enhanced sensor pack and like feel or hear anyone coming up before we see them.
Let's have you scope it out.
Should be fine. Get advantage from my sensor pack.
Yeah, you do.
So that's 2 + 3 plus calculating, which is a 0. So that's a 5.
Okay.
I rolled a 1, 2, and 3.
So I think that is the moment when you come around the corner and you see one of the hounds, and it looks at you and it does this, and it TK blasts you back down the corridor, and you're going to suffer 2 harm as you slam into it, and it's shouting for its master.
Yeah, I think I have just enough time to like turn panic to Captain and say, Cap, and then just fly.
We see the force push as Kyrie goes flying away. The special effect line gets pulled taut and he flies. All right. Suddenly, corridor fight. We've got the lines, the lights have changed. You hear the computer calling out your positions. You don't know how big the security team is, but you've always wanted to storm a ship. So tell me, let's have you do the firefight, right?
Yeah. There's a quick question through subvocal where Mumaton asks, Caliban, do you anticipate that we'll need to keep this ship worthy of going into space? Good.
No.
Good. Grenades.
In that case, what do you do?
So the good news is that while wearing this armor, the concussive force of her grenade will not cause Mumaton to go deaf, which we will test as she throws grenades at the team.
All right,
That is
let's
attack.
have you roll firefight.
Okay, I will do that. I just want to get excited talking about throwing grenades. That's all.
Oh, absolutely.
Thank goodness that I have a volatile of 2 because I rolled a 6. So that will be a 7 to 9 on firefight.
So exchange harm and choose one.
I don't think grenades have a discharge tag. They're kind of a thing.
That is correct.
All right.
So there's a uses tag. I think you have 3 grenades in a pack.
Do I? Okay, cool. Then I need to add another box there. Okay, cool. And I'll do that. I used 1. Cool. So I will play KG and suffer -1 harm.
Okay.
And I get that's it. That's my 1. I'll take
that is your 1. So you are going to take another 2 harm on your armor there.
Mm-hmm.
You can tell your armor is taking some serious direct hits, and then it absorbs. But with the look on this guy's face, this guy's trained ship security, and he's firing. He's got his weapon. The weapon is needlers because you don't want to fire anything heavier on a ship.
Yeah.
And you do this where you throw the grenade, and the look on his face is both A, you threw a grenade, and B, you can't do that on a spaceship. like no, like he's about to say you can't do, and then there's that move. And the other reason you don't do that on a spaceship is because everything here is pressurized. So you and Kala go sailing back from the force of that, and it blasts this guy back, and you hear fire suppression systems online. We have a potential breach, Sector 7, and you're now hearing both the intruder stuff and these other alerts, and they're like talking over each other at this point, and it's getting more confused. Kala, what do you do?
I think that now that we have the fire breach and all that stuff going, that is going to the whole system is going to open up the escape pods. So I'm actually going to get in. I want to essentially just fire those off. But I'm going to do it all from one side to throw the ship off in one direction. Like the whole bank of them.
Interesting. Yeah, let's what do you think this is to do this?
Is it jury rig in some ways?
Yeah, I think actually that's a perfect move for this.
Okay. So am I rolling with expertise because it's my ship?
Yes.
This is the ship I worked on. Okay, I will do that. Since I will take it since I've seen a lot of bad rolls go down here. So. Okay, so that gives me an 11.
So I want you to imagine this. The ship is lifting off. Big, beautiful, grand spaceship. Could have a crew of 100, 120 on it. Grand thing. And there are banks of these escape pods. And right now, the thrusters are just lifting it upward. So it's just focused on uplifting. And you fire off, and you see that as those pods, escape pods, go flying off. And the ship goes the other direction, and it slams into the top of that science dome and just smashes into that. And we see stuff crashing, giving way, and the ship is trying to right itself right now. And where you guys are at, because they haven't turned the artificial gravity on, the ship is now at a 30-degree lurch, and compensating artificial gravity in 10 seconds. You hear structural integrity damaged, and all the computer things. Now we're getting a whole bunch of other alerts going on, but the ship is not going upwards anymore at this point. Nikos, Kyrie goes flying past you, and then the ship tilts.
Yeah, and I think Kala gave us a little warning over our communicators, so I'm braced and the Hound isn't. I think I have a moment's advantage where I can try to stun him.
Oh yeah, let's have you Alpha Strike.
An 8.
It's an 8. You take what you get. Choose one.
Disable them.
Okay. So this is with your stunner?
Yes.
Okay. And so you won't take him out, but essentially the hit will stun him, so he has to catch his breath. And I think when you take that pause, you can see that there's a security team coming your way from the other end of the corridor, and you're a little exposed right now. Kyrie, kind of shake yourself up, and the ship tilts. And then you see the captain blast the Hound. But you can tell that the captain used a stun setting. But then you see the security team coming this way, though they're a little thrown off by the fact that the ship is at an angle right now.
I think Kyrie is too. I think we get like a sort of like POV shot, and everything is like flashing and out of focus, and get like the sort of like underwater / slightly deafened sort of echo to everything. And sort of in a heap at the end of the hallway. Can I take a moment to recover?
Sure. You're out of direct danger, so roll with Stalwart.
I mean, assuming the ship doesn't go spinning again. Come on, dice. I don't like you and you don't like me, but let's just work together for a minute. Oh, that worked. That was an 11.
You're calm and efficient. Choose 2.
Discharge and harm.
Okay. So
Figure out
shrug
what
it
to
off and
unmark.
which move are you gonna reset?
Let's see. You or you? I think it's definitely Mind Spike.
Okay, get that Mind Spike set back up. Right now, you're kind of after that, as you catch your breath, the security team behind you is getting righted. The Hound is stunned. You can hear the countdown to artificial gravity going on, and all kinds of klaxons and alerts here. Let's come back to you, Kyrie, not Kyrie, Mumaton.
So yeah, awesome.
Just that thing. Your ears aren't ringing because your suit's built for this, and you've still got more grenades.
I know, so many more grenades. This is literally the best. Quick check on Kalaba. Is she up? Is she knocked out? Are her ears bleeding? Okay, she's fine. Good. I'm thinking that guard isn't around anymore.
Oh no. You took out the immediate guards that were there, and they're going to have to try and come another way because the fire suppression thing blocked off that area.
Sweet. Kala, where do we need to go? Where do you need me to get you?
Well, by the essentially the panel, and she will click in to essentially, I'm going to do a scope it out or something like that
Sure.
will, but like with the disc box to essentially hone in on where this thing is in the ship.
Absolutely. Let's have you roll.
Okay. So I'm just rolling 2, no advantage. I rolled an 8. Not sure what I'm adding to it.
Calculating.
Oh, so 11.
So you will get 2 pings.
Really? Well, yeah, because there's a recorded one.
The disc is back towards the back part of the ship. That's the sense you get. That's the one that your compatriot Nikos has got a map to, but you get a weird, twisted, bad set of pings from up in the command bridge.
All right. So essentially, I show Mumaton where the real disc is, and I go, and the recordings are up here. We need to destroy those. They're recordings, aren't they, Lowell?
Yes.
So
Physical
that means
recordings.
Physical recordings. You mean like essentially on a metal disc, similar, like a
Yeah.
physicality? Okay. So essentially, what she did is she took what Child's Manow did to try to pull one over on them, and she did it to all of them. Is that pretty much it?
Yes.
That sort of thing of
Because she
pirated all 5
doesn't
discs?
care if it works.
Right. She just wants to destroy things. All right. And I'm like, that's what we have to destroy. The disc is what we need to put the gin back. And so
Which one do you want? I totally want the destroying thing.
we have to take that out.
Okay. Got it.
Okay. And so she agrees with you. So she's going with you. You like start to turn, and she's like right behind you, like she steps on the back of your heel and destroys your armor. There.
Dang it, that was the only good part. That one heel. Cool, that's fine. There's a moment where Mubuton thinks, oh, Kala is no wait, she's totally done this before. She makes it, she's got her own way. We're doing this. I would like to activate Juggernaut.
Absolutely. So you've got sort of 2 stages. You're going to have to get up essentially to the main sort of flight deck section of the ship, and then get into essentially the command area. So let's have you Juggernaut your way to that first step here.
Oh man, I gotta discharge it and I'll have to recover. All right, here we go. Roll with Stalwart. When you move forward unflinching towards a goal through an immediate danger, a hazard that others cower from, discharge this move and roll with Stalwart.
Can I help?
I'm
Yeah.
sure you can.
Okay.
Roll your lean on me, Sherry.
Okay. And what is that with Stalwart?
Stalwart.
Okay.
I will
Okay.
say
That's an 11.
okay. Yeah.
Nice.
So you get advantage. You can clear stress, and you aren't exposed to danger.
All right.
Mumaton.
Mm-hmm. Here we go. I'm rolling 3 brand new dice because these dice have been traitors to me. So here they come. I got a 10, but I'm a little disappointed in these dice.
Okay. So give me the montage we see. Wait, like there's that moment in the last Star Wars movie where the fight starts and the music kicks in. I think this is the moment that the music kicks in. So tell me what the montage looks like of you tearing your way through this ship up to the front.
I think the montage, there's one moment where she moves through the fire suppressant, like the after effects of it, and there are a couple people who are coming in to check it, and she's on them with the swords. There's another point where she uses a grenade blast to come through a wall and collapses down, throws one person. You see one, like it's a shot where she's coming towards someone, and you see outside the ship, and they go through the escape hatch that's been opened up. Doing this, yeah, they did the Wilhelm scream.
Wilhelm scream.
Yes, we have to stick that in there. And then her armor almost completely gone and depleted. She comes up, and Calabar comes up behind her, looking pristine, just fine, no problems whatsoever.
I think we'll see you breach into that flight deck area, and I think as you come in, you will see another little guy. Not the same one you saw before, but clearly another of the security guys who sees you and kind of does this thing where he shakes off and like loads his guns, and you'll see the hand knives come off of the back, and he just kind of starts coming towards you, and that's, I think, the moment that we cut away
Yeah.
there. Kyrie and Nikos, you're not in a great position. What do you do, Nikos? Muted.
I think I want to probably share expertise, use my knowledge of the ship. How can I bypass the security guards and get to...
Ooh, let's have you roll calculating.
That's a 13.
Right now, they're going to have to open up some venting, which they wouldn't normally have open to right now, because they need to pull stuff in from Atmo, and they need to purge out some of the fire things. So there are a set of sort of Jeffrey tube style spaces, if you're willing to jump in those, that you could probably use.
I'm not only willing to jump in them, I'm willing to throw Kyrie into one of them.
So, Kyrie, you are grabbed, and the captain is dragging you into the side thing, and you see him hit this button, and this narrow tube access thing pops open. Are you willing to go that way, Kyrie?
Yeah, it's very confused. What's going on? Where are we? Oh God, why is it so small? What does that smell?
Kyrie, I'd like you to keep your cool.
Cool. I'm great at that, probably.
It's stalwart, and you're not not banged up here.
Yeah. Oh, that is an 11.
So tell me what this looks like. This ship is still relatively new, so these tubes still have that like the machine oil lubricant on the inside of it, so it's easier to slide along. But what does it look like, and what does it look like when you pop out?
So I think actually with the like weird angles that the ship is going through, we managed to find like long stretches that we can just sort of like grease slide down.
Whee!
And so when we get to where we're going, it's very much like the venting or the grate or whatever just like flies the fuck off the wall, and out comes like Kyrie feet first and desperately trying to make a landing.
Okay. And you're pretty, you've got a decent slick, so I think you will land, catch your feet. Tell me what this room is.
Is this the one that we were trying to get to, or just somewhere along the way?
Somewhere much closer to it.
I don't know. Maintenance closet's always classic.
He'll pop in, and it's one of those closets where, again, it's a new ship, so they've got all the boxes like neatly arranged and labeled, and they've got the barcodes on them, and everything is very clear. Like somebody spent a lot of time getting this set, and your feet hit that first one, and it goes over, and it falls onto the next one and the next one, and we see bits and bobs and screws and sprockets everywhere as you land down in this room. And then the captain, who is super graceful, lands like a panther behind you.
As Kyrie is still looking around at the falling shelves and crap, just go, shh, no, shh, just stop, shh, quiet, we're trying to.
There'll be that the last thing that falls there.
Just a rolling glass jar.
Yeah. And you can still hear there's especially, you'll feel the ship, the artificial gravity comes on, and like suddenly your perspective, shifts as you're suddenly back sort of righted. And you also feel the ship itself like lurch, like it yanks itself out of the top of the dome. You have the sense, like, with no care for what it does to the dome, like it aims the repulsors at the top of it and blasts the top of that facility down into it with the gravity repulsors. Somewhere there's a whole host of villainous academics that are being crushed by debris right now.
Oh no.
We get shots of people running, a little bit green screen behind them. The ship kind of starts to, again, make its way upwards. And you are close. You can tell that there's probably a security team back here, but you are close by the location that you were heading to. So you can both feel the ping of the furious disc. Like it starts to bleed into both of your consciousnesses here. Consciousnesses. What's a plural? Consciousness? I don't know. Anyway,
Consciousnesses.
the consciousness of both of you. All right. So arm blades out. This guy comes, does that careful pattern like he's trained with these things, kind of forces you back. What do you do, Mumaton?
Yeah, I think I'm gonna go dance with the guy with the crazy psycho knives, and yeah, I mean, ultimately that's gonna make some room for Kalaba. I've got this thing. Yeah, I didn't actually take that move, but yeah, I think perhaps it's time for a little bit of an adrenaline rush.
Okay.
So she draws out her sword, which we saw earlier, the Mercurium sword, and I'm going to activate Adrenaline Rush. When you flood your system with adrenaline in a tense or dangerous situation, discharge this move and roll plus Stalwart.
Let's see it.
All right. Gotta add a checkbox to this. Oh, now I can check it off. All right. Here we go. Snake eyes again.
Snake eyes again.
Wow.
So you go to hit that system, and this guy is on you, and and with one stroke of that, your armor is gone.
Yes.
Just tears it away, forces you back. There's blood pouring down from you, but you didn't take a wound, but your armor is completely gone, and he is on you. Those things are super sharp, double-sided, and kind of trying to pull yourself together.
Might I take a stress, perhaps?
Yes.
Okay, good. You know, it's less game, so why not?
Absolutely. Kala, it was awesome. And then this guy forces back, clearly more dangerous than the others, and has put Mumaton at a disadvantage, and her armor is just broken.
Really? But he's paying attention to her, right?
Yes.
Oh, that's my cue. So I've stepped off to the side, and I'm just going to shoot him.
Okay. Roll firefight.
I don't know what that is.
Roll with volatile.
Okay. So I rolled a 12 plus 1 for volatile, so a 13.
So we went from snake eyes to boxcars.
Yes.
Which is, I think the title of the book at this point. So you've got 3 to choose there.
Okay. I just got to find the move. I'm sorry. Is this under regular moves?
This is under combat moves.
And this is firefight?
Yes.
Okay. So I'm going to suffer -1 harm.
Okay, so you just take 2.
I'm going to discharge my weapon.
Okay.
So does that take out one of the moves?
Yep.
Okay. And I think I'm going to make an advance. Would that be the thing, or?
Yeah. So you can move past him as you do this shot to try and get that. And how much harm do you deal?
Well, let's see here. This was just, I figure it was my pistol at this point. So let me look. That's the Vulcan pistol.
Mm-hmm.
So discharge, it has the stun going with it, and 1 harm. So I don't know what discharge does. I know I get.
So I think that with the discharge, that stun effect will get him like the damage doesn't go through his armor, but it does stun him. So he steps back, and you're going to give Mumata an advantage
All right.
as you rush
Perfect.
past.
Okay.
So you're making your way up to the bridge. There's the systems up there. You know that's locked. Momoton is still engaged with this arm sword. Let's come back to Kyrie and Nikos. Kyrie, you'll pop your head out quickly of the door, kind of take a look, and you can see that there's clearly a secure room. There are a couple of security outside it that are like clearly guarding the room, and they're on their comms trying to ascertain the situation, like what's going on, who's coming, you know, where are they headed, where are the targets, where are the bogeys.
The nice thing about having a heavily like locked door and security guards right near it to guard it is that there's a chance that one grenade could take them all three out.
There is. Are you throwing a grenade?
Well, yeah. I mean, what's the point of having grenades if you're not going to throw them?
Absolutely. So let's have you roll firefight.
That's volatile. So I'm okay at that. And this seems like a nice time to spend a darkness for advantage. I want to do special effects, but I also just want the dice to roll well.
That seems reasonable.
Oh my. That's a 13.
That is a 13. So what are your picks off of firefight?
Let's see. It's not discharge. I can't double the harm of a grenade. Right. So I'm gonna suffer less harm.
So 1 harm.
Okay. I have to definitely force my enemy out of cover.
Sure.
And the impress, dismay, or frighten.
So there is that moment when you pop out of cover, throw that grenade. And again, there's a look at the face of the people like, you can't use grenades in a spaceship. Like that goes through their mind a second before this goes off. And they are thrown in both directions, maybe dead, maybe unconscious, but that door just buckles in. The interior ship's doors, they're not made for this kind of thing. These aren't bulkhead doors, and it just will crack and shatter.
I love the just incredulous looks on the guards' faces.
Yes. Nikos, what do you do?
I'm going to rush, get in that room and find the disc.
You will see as you come in that it's clearly some kind of lab or something, and you can see this disc. It is suspended in the air, some kind of force field or gravitational or magnetic thing used to hold it up as it's sitting there, hanging in the air. And it definitely wants you to pick it up.
Oh, I would definitely pick it up.
Can I please have you roll Assaulted by the Dark?
Snake Eyes. So that is a 2.
All right. So all 3. I think that you're going to freeze up. We're not going to worry about the hook right now, but I think the dark asks you this in a very personified way. And you hear your brother's voice, and your brother says, "Why did you leave me? Why did you not come back sooner? You could have saved me before, but now it's too late. Why?"
because I wasn't good enough.
You still aren't. And we're going to cut away from that. And we're going to come up to the front. This guy has you on the ropes, and then suddenly takes the stun hit, shakes that off, sees a little rat girl go past, doesn't care. And it's just like, you're the threat. And he says, after I'm done with you, I'm going to skewer her.
Really don't understand how tough she is.
And he comes at you like he drops down into a low crouch to come at you, where one of the arms goes up high, other one is going low. So you have to choose where you're going to defend. So tell me what you're doing.
Oh, I think I will worry about the up high. I can sacrifice a leg. Cybernetic replacements are okay.
Yeah. Let's have you roll firefight.
Okay. Come on, dice. I'm deleting these 2 dice because they have disappointed me. 2 new dice. Here we go. What is up with these dice? That's a 6. Exactly a 6.
It is exactly a 6. So I think you go.
Did you roll with advantage?
Oh yeah,
Should I?
Yeah, because she
Yes.
gave you advantage for stunning him.
Oh, sorry. Let me roll this 1 die. And that makes it a 10.
What?
Because I rolled a 5 and I had a 3, so it was exactly a 6. So 5 and a 3 is an 8 plus 2 for volatile makes it a 10. I'll take off that XP I marked. Wow, that was
All right.
thank you
So
much.
what is it? What is the moment where you think it's all going to go wrong, and then how does that shift?
Oh, I think she is worried about the move coming up high, and he's going down low, and she's in her head. She knows there's a femoral artery that he's going to strike for, but then the ship just kind of shifts just a little bit, and it throws his balance off just enough to where it grazes her thigh and gives her a cool, battle damaged move, like, cuts away some of the fabric. You see some blood, but some flesh. It's a thing. It'd be on her action figure, and it opens
Absolutely.
things up.
Okay, and tell me what your choices are here. Choose your 3.
Yeah, I think can't really discharge a Mercurium sword, so I won't be choosing that one. I want to suffer -1 harm, impress, dismay, or frighten my enemy, and then disengage to take a moment to recover. This is my Mercurium sword, 3 harm, skirmish silent basic.
So that will cut into his armor, and we'll say damage it. And he'll also take some harm as he goes kind of tumbling past you from the tilt. But he is going to deal 2 harm to you with the blades as he goes past.
Awesome. Any stress?
No extra stress there.
Okay. I'm just on the doorstep of a calamity.
I know, but roll recover.
All right. I'm going to do it. Here we go. This plus stalwart. I got a 9. Take a little too long, choose 2, but my enemy gets a chance to get in a better position to prepare themselves. Dang it. I will shrug it off and recover something that's been discharged.
Okay. He comes tumbling past you, hits, you stand up, we see you hit the tack pack. We see him one of the blades goes down, and we see him grab out a tack pack, and he also slams it onto him.
Smart guy.
He is moving to circle you. Kala, how do you break through this door here to get up to the bridge?
She goes, actually, I don't. The first thing I do is I stop with the panels, and I log in with my codes, and I set the fire suppression system off in the bridge first.
Okay.
So, and then I wait for the exits, and that sort of thing. And I'm essentially, you can see she's working with her rifle right now.
Let's have you act quick.
Okay, what do I roll with that?
Slick.
Oh, lol, you're just mean sometimes. So that's a 6.
That is a 6. So I think you will get that fire suppression system will vent out, but we see that door come open, and this figure comes out and kind of slams into you and knocks you and him back into this flight deck room.
Okay.
Mark a stress.
No. Okay.
You see this security person has kind of got you pinned there, even as Momoton is desperately fighting. She can't help you now. You're going to have to deal with this yourself. Kyrie, you feel the dark coming towards you. Like you see Nikos step into that room, is going to get the disc. You fire this grenade off, and then suddenly you feel like some entity from the dark is coming this way.
I think I want to try and protect the captain. Like, he definitely doesn't know what he's getting into here.
Okay. How do you do that?
With my brain magic. I run up to him and try and get
I think you can see his thing. Do you want to shake him out of this?
Is he actually holding the disc?
Yes.
Yeah, I want to try and take it from him.
Roll with weird.
7, 8, 9.
Choose 2.
Off of
Assaulted by the dark.
Oh, fun. First 2, dark stares back and freeze up.
I think you will touch this thing, and you can, as you do, like time slows, and you can hear the heavy footsteps of that thing coming, and you can feel its presence in your mind, and then you will see the captain standing in the doorway. He's dressed differently, but he looks exactly like the captain. But you can tell that there's something in him that is terribly, terribly wrong. And he looks and he says, "Brother." Captain, would you like to shake off this freeze here?
Yeah, that would be nice. So that's, I roll with disadvantage to keep my cool.
Yes.
That was an 11.
You shake it off, and you spin around, and you see your brother. But you know, I mean, like you can see that he's hollow and filled with something else.
Okay. Yeah.
Nikos.
Did we ever give my brother a name? Do you remember?
I don't think so. Do you want a name?
Okay, all right. Jurg.
Jurg. Yes, he says Nikos.
Jurg, I've missed you, brother.
I've missed you. I reached out for you. I could feel you in the dark between when you traveled. I could sense you coming closer and closer.
I came as quickly as I could.
Come and give your brother a hug.
I look at him and I say, I will, but you are not my brother.
And it begins to step forward.
And I'm going to say, I draw my Vulcan pistol and I blast it.
Okay, let's have you roll firefight.
9.
9. So you are going to take harm. And you get to choose one from that list.
I think I'll halt it in advance.
Kind of blast it back. The energy hits off of it, but there's something about its presence that just burns into your head like bees flying, and that same feeling you got when you were had that weird vision when you were traveling. And so you're going to take 1 point of harm through whatever armor you have.
Yeah. Okay. So I'm now rattled.
Yes. We will come back to you two versus the outer dark entity in just a second. Kyrie, when we come back, we'll have you roll your shake it off, okay? You see Kala pinned by the security guard. You see this guy's tack packed, ready to rock and roll, coming back in again. What do you do, Mumatin?
This is rough. It's rough because I'm worried about Kala. I'm gonna sacrifice my position and try to give advantage to Kala to get her out of there. So,
are you doing Stoic Wall?
Yeah, I think it's time for Stoic Wall.
Okay.
Here we go. Stand defiant, defend another from violence or harm. Discharge his move and roll with stalwart. I'm gonna roll the 2 dice that have not disappointed me recently. And they disappoint me. So 3 plus 2 makes it 5.
What's your stalwart?
2. So it's a 5.
There you go.
Wow.
So I think you take that step to try and get up to help Kala, and that blade comes down. What do you lose?
Oof, what do I lose? I think she loses her left arm at the elbow.
Yeah. And that cuts through, and it's like yours, like a Mercurian blade, and it comes through that and just slices off. And there's that immediate sort of adrenaline shock that you'll get as your mind recognizes the level of damage there. You'll just take 1 harm from that, but your arm is off, and we see it hit the ground like somebody hit it with a lightsaber in a cantina. Kala, you see that.
Yeah, and I think she does cry out. She had this awesome plan. So she was going to use her pressure tent to essentially push this guy away and sort of push her into the push him back and her into the corridor. So she kind of sees that just as she hits the pressure tent, and I think, am I rolling at a disadvantage, or does my success level go down one? I'm not sure which one it is.
For which one?
For jury rig to try to use that pressure thing.
I'm gonna let you just roll it straight. Let's just go straight
Sure?
with that. Yeah.
Okay. All right. So I roll a 10 straight, that would give me a 13. So I think there's that thing of she sees that and she gasps, but she's already hit the tent, and it does that sort of rapid expansion, and it throws her into the corridor and the security guard back.
Okay. So when you say into the corridor, where are you flung?
Well, you flung me back into the flight deck. So
Yeah.
it's essentially I've flung myself back to where I was, and him further into the flight deck. Does that make any sense?
Absolutely. So that will explode. I'll say it will knock everybody back in here.
Okay.
And it creates chaos in this room. And then, of course, it immediately begins to deflate.
Mm-hmm.
We'll come back to you two in just a second. Blood pumping, tent deflating, one security guard knocked back, the sword guy moving in for the kill on Mumaton to finish her off on this next strike, and then claim her head. Kyrie.
Hey, what's up?
Would you like to keep your cool?
Oh yeah, I guess if all the cool kids are doing it.
Absolutely.
So stalwart with disadvantage. You guys. 8, 9.
A 9. Disadvantage or stress?
I mean, it's obviously the stress.
Absolutely. So mark the stress.
And
you
that
see this.
takes me up to a calamity, which take this as you want, but you're given an opportunity for revenge, but risk harm against yourself for alienating those you care about. I want to try and take the power of the djinn into myself and turn it against Peggy Carden and that leader of the hounds. Or one. Leader of the hounds, if only I could get one.
Interesting. So you're not even focused on helping your captain from that. Okay.
Well, I mean, my idea there is that if I'm taking in the power of the djinn, like it's gonna stop assaulting him, but I don't know that for sure. And yes, I'm definitely focused on my own goals.
Absolutely. Let's have you roll with. We're gonna sort of work this maneuver here. Let's have you roll with weird.
All right. Snare, you, and one last darkness. We'll go with someone is frightened or cowed, and you get to decide who out of this. Jesus. 5 + 2 is 7. Can't get me, dice.
So I think you will channel that power of the djinn, and you will see your mind race out through the corridor. We can see, you will catch, and we will see the hound and her handler moving up to the flight deck, and it looks like they are getting ready to back up and support Kala and Mumaton, and then you just pour that darkness into her, and she collapses to the ground, and the hound just stands there.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Nikos, this figure's flown back. You can see that the eyes have rolled back into the head of Kyrie, You still feel the ship lifting up, but it's now like destabilized. Like you're a little worried about this because it almost feels like there's nobody at the helm.
I think I want to make contact with the Jinn and see if I can get it to like reassemble itself.
You need all the discs.
I need to get to the flight deck.
You need to get all 5 discs together. You've got 3 of them here, but not all 5.
All right. So yeah. So grab Kyrie and like get his attention, and it's like we need to rejoin the others. We need to get.
Let's have you act quick to be able to get out of here before your brother can reorient itself and come after you.
Okay. 10.
You grab Kyrie, go running out, push past your brother, and your brother says, "Where are you going, coward?" "Running away again, leaving me behind. Don't you think you can save me?" And it's following the sort of heavy echoing footsteps that are in your mind, even as you're running through. And the ship is shaking now. Like it's clearly feeling like it's out of control here. And you are rushing forward down this. We probably see security people running for the escape pods, and then the wah as they realize that they're all gone. And there's chaos all through the decks. Outside, we can see that the ship is lurching and picking up speed, and it looks like it's getting ready to ram into the monolith. Yeah, so you can get a calamity, Mumitin. Bless you, Mumitin.
It like threatened, but didn't happen. I actually think I'm one. Unless you give me another stress,
I'm going to give you another stress. I cut your freaking arm off.
Okay, yay. Thanks. Because you're just like, just one harm. I'm like, oh, but that seems stressful to me. Yeah, it seems like we're in a lot of trouble. So of the calamities, maybe a group of comrades arrive to help end a violent conflict before moving on?
Who is that? Oh, no, actually, if you'll allow me for just this second to throw this into the mix. I think that we will see this guy rise up to strike at you, and I think we see this figure decloak, and we see Recusant as she comes in and slices into this guy and sends him spinning back, and stands there and looks at you and says, "What, are you going to wait around all day?" What do you do?
I think she's bleeding real bad, so I think maybe she just is going to apply something to staunch the wound and stumble forward towards Kalaba.
Let's have you roll with Stalwart to recover.
Oh, okay, good. That sounds good. I'll tactical pack and Stalwart. Up here we go. Reading all of these dice. Start with 2 new. Oh, geez. 6 + 2 is an 8, so I'm a little slow. My enemies get other stuff that seems appropriate, but I will. Yeah, I think I'm gonna. Yeah. Wow, it's a recusant right there. There she is. I'm gonna leave the harm, and just basically recover a discharged move.
Okay. I think that the time, which gets to choose 2 of them.
Oh, do it? Oh.
Yeah.
Oh, you're right. Oh, okay, cool. Then I'll take off one of the armor. Thank you. Take one.
I think that it is a recusant is going to move to like work on the other person, but the other security, now she is locked up with these security people and trying to keep them back. like maybe you had an an opportunity, but now she's kind of locked up with that as you tack pack. Does that seem fair?
Mm-hmm.
Kala.
Okay.
You see Rakusin is tying up the security people. You see Mumatin kind of hit against the wall and apply this tactical pack to keep the blood from draining out of her.
Okay, and I think you see Kala, and like she's crying, okay, because she can see Mubatan, and she's sort of like, she puts her hand up, she's got that rifle again, and you see her like making some adjustments, and she dives into the bridge.
You will go rush up there. You see this woman, gray hair, older, dressed severely. You can see there is a machine with these discs going. She's not paying any attention to that because she's desperately trying to get the flight controls because the ship is veering and picking up speed and getting ready to ram into the monolith. What do you do?
I think she uses her override code one time and then gives it directions to go straight up. So like we're all going to get flung again, if that makes any sense.
Okay, so you're trying to shake this,
yes,
to make it so that she can't. Let's have you keep your cool.
Okay, what does that take?
Stalwart.
Okay, sorry, I just never remember the things here. Okay, go. Okay, so that's a 10.
So she is just about ready. You see her getting the stabilizers back online. She's about to pull the ship out of this dive, and you will lurch, and she flies across the room. And you can see that the ship is now in a death dive, picking up speed. It is going to smash into the monolith, and you know that this is not going to end well.
I asked it to go up, but okay, that's cool. That sounds good.
I thought you meant up to knock it aside here. It's also not space worthy either at this point.
Right. Okay. Yeah, but I still wanted up just so that it was, but okay, whatever it's done, it's done. I gave it directions. So yes, we're going to smash into this thing.
Okay. And when you say up, are you trying to get some change to the physicality here?
Yeah, basically. I wanted her flung away, so that was what I wanted. And I wanted the ship to like give me another second before it hit the monolith so that I could.
You're buying some time. Okay, absolutely. So the artificial gravity is still on. So you turn and you're kind of slowing. It's still going to smash into this thing. Kyrie, you're being just like the crazy perception of this thing, and then the shaky cam as you're being pulled along the hallway, and then you're sort of the mind image you have of that dead Order of Pariah woman and that hound will meet up in reality as the captain has yanked you down the ship up to where the flight deck is at. You can hear the sounds of this entity on your heels, walking slowly, coming closer. You'll see Mumatin bleeding. You see Recusant fighting with these people. What do you do? Oh, you also see that hound.
So which one of us is that, me?
That's you, Kyrie.
Can I see that figure or just like hear it?
You turn around. Oh yeah, he's coming down the corridor towards you. Sing me the songs like you used to sing me. Come on, Nikos. You know the words. Like when we went to the circus.
Yeah, I want to try and attack and distract it so that the captain can be free to act for a minute.
How are you doing that?
Is it something I could try and mind spike?
Absolutely. 100%.
Oh, you seem very excited by that. I'm sure that'll be fine. That's probably not a problem.
Probably not.
All right. Yeah, no more of that. So
Discharge mind spike and
you are very good dice and like me a lot, right? It's 8 plus 2 is 10.
all right. So tell me what you're doing.
Um, I'm
Trying to tell it to stop.
I'm gonna start with and it's it can either submit or take 2 harm, whatever that means.
Okay.
But on a force to take a single action, doesn't put it in direct harm. As I just growl at it, leave him alone. Your own size.
And what's your second hold?
What is it trying to do? What does it intend to do with this like attack on Nikos's mind?
This is just fun. It would like to make Nikos like it, so it has a matching set. And
Fun.
I think you will do that, and it will kind of stop, and then it kind of starts to push through, and it starts pushing back against the force of your psychic, and it is coming closer and closer, though that clearly took some wind out of its sails there. Nikos, what do you do?
I'm getting the 5 discs together.
So let's have you act quick.
Okay. $12.
So you grab Kyrie's disc, move over to Mumaton. Mumaton, Captain is grabbing for that disc you've got in the pouch. Do you stop him?
Of course not. I start to, and then I reach with my actual working hand and hand it to him.
Kala, you see the captain come running up. He is slammed together. He has 4 of the discs. You have that bottom one. You're muted.
Yeah, I opened the case.
Okay.
It has mine in it, in room for the other 4.
And that will slam into that. And there'll be this moment when you are all there, and then you feel the ship go through you. And you're all kind of hanging there in the air. You can see the burning dome of the facility down below. And this ship goes past you, and we see it impact into that monolith. We see when it hits the field of whatever engine is working on this ship, the thing that she built will hit to the center of it, and it kind of slams into it. And then we will see the monolith begin to fall. And we can see the ship go tumbling down, the monolith go tumbling down, and we see all of this go crashing, just tumbling down, flattening this Foundation facility. And you will see Recusant is there, and you will see that Hound is there. And the discs are kind of hovering, and you feel that entity has kind of been pulled out of you.
And as it's leaving my body, I'm focusing on one thought: mend what is broken.
You will see, Momoton, you feel this absolutely gripping pain, and you will see flesh start to pour out and knit from your arm. And you guys are falling like feathers out of the air. Kind of some of the debris kind of falls around you and it's pushed away as it's falling. And the 6 of you will descend. And the discs are still kind of floating there. And you will hear a voice. It takes it a bit to find its way. And it says, I cannot undo what the Ifriti have done, Captain Nikos.
Do what you can.
I will give you a thing that you have searched for. Not the one you want now, but the thing that you asked for. I will open a new gate. I will open the eye of Amido for you.
And I fall to my knees.
And you'll feel that gaze fall upon you, Kyrie.
Okay.
And it says, you will have to care for that one.
What can I do to undo what they've done to him?
I don't know. There are little broken things to me.
Who would know?
Perhaps recusants. And you get a picture of both recusant and that figure that was in the desert. And Momoton, you'll feel your arm come back and it forms up. You'll see the last, like the skin is the last thing to form up on this arm.
Didn't expect that.
Pardon?
Didn't expect that to happen.
Okay. And is there anything else that you wish?
I don't need wishes of Jin. Thank you.
And Balaka.
And I think she does this when he says that. She goes, I just want to go with you.
As you wish, and you're gone. And you'll kind of hear the howling of the winds across the planet as the last of these bits collapses down onto this place. And you'll hear through the comms, anybody want to tell me what is happening? I'm just the ship. You could just, do these things and not bother to keep me informed. But
Shut up! Where the fuck is Kala?
I don't detect Kala.
What? Try with your sensors. Actually turn them on.
Kala is no longer in system. Let's go to epilogues. Let's start with you, Captain Nikos. What's your epilogue here? You muted.
Right. So this thing that was my brother, I think it's like we've made some progress in healing it, but it's going to take time and patience for him to relearn what he was. And he is on my ship. I am doing my best to care for him, and like I'm stocking the ship up and like recruiting a couple of crew members to go through this new gate and find what lies out there.
Kyrie, what about you?
I think the last we see of Kyrie is on the ship in our like chapel area there. He's knelt down. There's like several candles and burning incense sort of things. And Ahmet the hound is knelt there with him too. And you can see both of their lips moving, like cycling over and over again the same meditative prayer as Kyrie has like one of Ahmet's arms, and he's working down the inside of it, tattooing a line of prayer.
So we can see that it matches the ones that are on your skin there. What about you, Momenton?
Well, that depends. Has Calabar returned? If I just need a yes or no, but if Calabar hasn't returned, we'd see Mumaton on her own.
Kala, do you return?
I think she does.
So let's do your epilogue and then we'll do
Okay.
Mumaton's.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
So I think she comes back and it is sort of like she just reappears on the ship, while they're flying, just back in the ship. And she goes and takes up her station, and essentially just kind of picks up where she is. She seems like she doesn't talk as much. And she looks out through the viewers. And sometimes she just looks out through the wall of the ship. And sometimes she just disappears again, but she comes back. Does that make any sense?
Yeah.
It is just, she's like herself, but a little slower and more contemplative. And she disappears.
Momenton, what is your epilogue then? Take a drink.
Dang it. All right. Mumaton's aboard the ship, not in armor because it doesn't completely fit anymore, because she's pregnant. But still armored, still acting like security because that's all she knows. So she's going to keep doing that thing.
Interesting. That is where we're going to leave off with that last sort of teaser image of that. Thank you all very much. Let's do a last sort of stars and wishes if you don't mind. and then we'll stop the recording, and then we can talk a little bit about system after that. So let's do stars and wishes. Stephen, what do you want to say?
Definitely stars to Sherry for the last session when she came up with the idea of having us all put the genie in our heads. That was great. It's and I mean this whole session where we were improvising and the stakes were incredibly high and everything was going wrong. There were so many bad rolls this session.
A lot of advances on the table, I think, left untaken. Anything else you want to say?
No, just this was exciting.
Good. Patrick, stars and wishes, things you want to say?
This was really good. Again, I like this sort of like ticking clock nature of the disaster, and as I've had many sessions in different systems where I rolled like crap the entire time. I've had a few sessions in different systems where everyone rolled like crap the entire time, but it's really rare to get one that does that and comes off feeling satisfying. Like at least for me, and this may just be a Kyrie thing, but at least for me, every time I rolled one of those fails, I looked back at the action I had just done and what was going on around me, and I was like, well, fair. That does in fact make sense. You kept those failures like fueling the drama and the forward momentum in a really nice way. So while it was sort of frustrating at times in the moment, it was usually more like funny and fitting when the dice showed up as snake eyes. The only wish I have left out of the story is like, you know, if there'd been one more arc, it would have been interesting to dig into Amit and get some more secrets about the Hound. And my sort of like end of character calamity is where I get the location of a seat of power for the bad guys, and I can go and make like one last shot to see who gets taken down and who dies and that sort of thing. And it just I love that the character has that sort of endpoint built into it, and I would have loved to see like how that built up to a climax for Kyrie.
It is one of the things. This is a really optimistic game in terms of going, yeah, you're going to play long enough to get through the stress and the calamities in this, which is interesting for a PBTA. I mean, it takes a different perspective on it than a lot of games. But yeah, those end moves are really cool. Rich, anything you want to say?
Stars to you, Lowell, for having like some really super interesting things going on at the compound. The second party kind of creating a triangle of conflict and lack of trust was super fascinating. I was drawn into that quite a bit. Their use of recusant was awesome because it would have been otherwise some kind of out of nowhere hammer, so that was great. I didn't get to play with Leandro because of the whole stupid Zoom thing, so it was nice to actually have Leandro's character show up. I'll brag about that to Leandro later.
It was so good that we had that on the table to pair that up with that calamity choice. That was just,
That was
I'm
great.
so happy.
Really, really cool. I like that a lot. The alternative for me would have been, I can't even remember his name, but guy from Mech Suit and other Mech Suit old dudes showing up and blowing the fuck out of everything. But I preferred Recusant. It was a nice moment, and it was more of a connection to the crew. So that was exciting. Those are my stars. Wishes. I mean, we'll talk more system, but like there were calamities out there that I really wanted to see on the table. I'm very happy that you gifted me with stress. Just like you really have to drive hard to get those. It's like, damn.
You know, it's interesting, and I'll talk about this in the system thing. The book makes a big deal about want to be careful about stress, because stress is very hard to deal with, very hard to handle. It's not. They're like, it's actually pretty easy to clear in between scenes, which seems odd to me given the dynamic that the game suggests. So I don't know, but we'll talk about it. Sherry, last word before we end.
I think I loved the fact that even in the ending, the crew was all about their lives and their lives going on with each other and mingled with each other. Their agendas, but it was all really about just how do you say, found family still together. Well, except for Kyrie, who's, he's the little brother we all have to take care of because he doesn't take care of himself. So, and now he's got a little brother. So, but I mean, it was really lovely, and I love the epilogues. I thought they were awesome.
I'm going to stop recording. I would like to take a couple minutes after I stop to talk system, if you guys don't mind. Let me stop this. Thank you all so much. Stopping.